It's here.
It's October 26th, 2020, which means it is day 26 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project, year 9. I am the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and welcome to my YouTube channel. And today we are talking about 2 episodes from the Tales from the Crypt Season 2. All week I'm doing Tales from the Crypt. I'm going to be watching the first and last episode of each season, and the episodes I'll be talking about in this one are from episode 1 and as well as episode 18 to kind of help you just a little bit. But before I go any further, I need you to click subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified for any future videos I will be creating right here on this channel, and as well as leave a like, share, and leave a comment down below because I want to hear what you have to say about this season. Leave a recommendation or what's your nostalgic memory of Tales from the Crypt. And when you hit like and share my videos, that helps me get my channel out there to a much broader audience. And while you're doing that, go to the 13th Wolfman, I Am the Ice Lord, Moods, who else? Indie Film Cafe, Tony Has Nine Fingers, Random Horror. Go to all of them. I may not get a chance to go on to watch all their videos, but show them some support because we're all having a lot of fun. We're all getting down to the last week of October and leading up to Halloween, and it's been a lot of fun, and I've enjoyed seeing everyone's pics and stuff like that. So just go over there and show everyone's support. Just go into the search bar and type in the 31 Days of Horror or 31 Days of Halloween, or like for mine, 31 Days of Fright. So we're all doing different names, but essentially we're all doing the same thing. So thank you. So with that all out of the way, the episodes I'll be talking about are episodes 1, Dead Right, and as well as episode 18, The Secret. So I'm going to talk about the first episode real quick. I have notes, so if you see me kind of looking off to the side, it's because I wanted to try my best to keep these episodes clear and kind of not trying to jumble over one another, so it helps me kind of keep things a little more organized. So this first episode, Dead Right, is about a woman who's wants to marry a rich man. She's a gold digger, essentially. So she goes to this fortune teller to kind of see how her fortune will turn out and see if she's going to marry someone who is rich and everything. So she's very skeptic of it all, and so the fortune teller's first prediction is that she's going to lose her job as soon as she gets to work, and as well as she's going to find a new job before the end of the day. And when she gets there to work, and she's there, and it's like she's on her lunch break. So how is she going to get fired? And the boss is gone, but turns out the boss shows up, and she's like, "Well, you only get an hour for lunch. You took an hour and a half. You're fired." And then as she's walking home, this waitress or this kind of like exotic dancer, she ends up getting fired, and she's complaining like, "You'll never find anybody." And the bartender, the owner of the bar is like, "Hey, do you want a job?" Points to a very young Demi Moore. And it's like, "You want a job?" And it's like, then she starts her new job. So she believes. So she has. So she believes the power of this fortune teller or the psychic, and she keeps going back, and it's like, I need to find out. I need to find out if I'm going to marry someone who's rich, and. The fortune teller is like, "You're gonna be approached by a very large man, and you're gonna come into a large sum of money, and it's gonna die violently." So that's basically it. So she meets this large man who's played by Jeffrey Tambor, and he has some of the most grotesque makeup on ever. Like, if it wasn't for his voice, you probably wouldn't have recognized him, even though he's very recognizable. He has a very distinct look to him. But even with the fat makeup on him, he is very, like, they give him like really kind of like that's distinct over features. Like, his neck is very out to here. He has like a double chin. His nose kind of hooks, and so he's just grotesque, and it's really kind of rough to look at. You know, he's like like his skin is kind of just. Ugh, you know, he definitely doesn't take care of himself. So he's just oily. He's kind of just like, you can tell that he's just, like I said, just doesn't take care of himself. And she's keeps making fun of him, and then it finally dawns on her. It's like, oh, this is the guy. So she's like, yes, I will marry you. When things kind of start to kind of form in her head, like, this is what's going to happen. This is going to happen. And then the big twist of the episode is that she's like this 1 millionth customer at this place, at this supermarket or whatever. And it's like, you're our 1 millionth customer, so you win $1 million. And then she's like, I'm out of here. I don't need you. I got my money. And then Jeffrey Tambor, Charlie Marlowe, ends up like something like that, ends up stabbing her to death. And so the fortune teller's prediction was right, but she just didn't give her the enough information, and it was just really good. I thought this first episode for the season was really good. I really liked it. Demi Moore, a young Demi Moore, Jeffrey Tambor, they're both really good in this episode. Even the psychic, I cannot remember her name, but she's really good in it. She's like, at the end of the episode, it's like another victim, basically. So I think this is not her first rodeo when it comes to messing with people's lives. So I really like this episode. It was pretty good. It was a pretty strong episode. Not as strong as season 1 first episode, but it was hard to beat because I really, really liked that first episode. So, episode 18 for season 2 is called The Secret. It's about this orphan who is constantly getting picked over due to his older age of the other kids at this orphanage, until one day this rich couple is like, you're perfect, and takes him home, and they basically give him this extravagant bedroom with all the toys you could imagine, like a train set, this gigantic bed, and just a butler will wait on him from hand and foot, you know, just like anything he ever wants. And he's being constantly fed like ice cream and cookies and milkshakes and sweets and anything really high in sugar, and it's constantly going throughout. And I'm like, oh man, that would make me extremely sick, to just eat nothing but sweets like that. And so, and after this montage of them kind of constantly giving him sweets, it's like, okay, what's up? Like, there's something not quite right with this situation of this kid's. And like, there's a couple parallel moments as well, because when he was at the orphanage, he was constantly locked in his room, and even here he was constantly locked into his room. He couldn't go anywhere, except for at the orphanage he could like get out and scale the drain pipe and kind of run out and do what he wants to do. But he always comes back. But unlike at his new home, there's bars on the window and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. So he's just really confined to this room. But he ends up kind of forming this relationship with the butler. But I was waiting for the other foot to drop. You know, like, what is like the big twist of this episode? And so we find out why he's being constantly fed sweets, because this rich couple are vampires. And then as he's getting, to meet his demise and everything, the butler's like, all right, we gotta go. Like, he formed this relationship with this kid, and he was promised immortality, so he's a human, and the vampires were going to turn him, essentially. He just couldn't go through with it. Um, the butler is played by the guy who plays Durant in the Darkman series. I cannot remember his name. I'm really terrible with that. But he's really good in this episode. And he also shows up in another um, Tales from the Crypt episode I watched in season 1. I think he plays like the psychotic Santa Claus, so, or the guy who plays or dressed up as Santa Claus, and um, so anyways, the kid gets loose, starts running through the forest, and everything, and so there. This here comes another big reveal because out at the orphanage, the assistant to the head mistress of the place is like, we have to lock him up because the reason why he's an orphan is hush hush. It's very kept secret. We don't tell nobody. It like only I'm going to know, and then at the end of the episode, we find out that his parents was werewolves, so he's a werewolf, and he ends up turning the tables on the vampires and killing both of his parents, killing of his adopted parents. And then he shows back up at the orphanage, dressed up in like this really fancy suit and for a kid that is, and then his hair's well combed, and he's like, "There's going to be some changes around here," and because he knows what he is now, and it was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it. It was kind of weak, a little bit, but it was still fun. I thought it was actually a pretty decent episode. I think if I watched the whole season, I bet there would have been a better final episode, but I think this was still a pretty decent episode to go out on. So, because I was still on the edge of my seat, like, okay, how's this episode going to end? Or, like, what's the big twist? Or, like, why are they fattening this kid up, basically? Like, are they going to feed him to something? That was my guess, is that they were going to actually, like, they were just fattening him up, and they were going to feed him to this, like, monster or something like that. And I'm like, but the monsters ended up being the adoptive parents, so, and vampires. So, for season 2 of Tales from the Crypt, episode 1 and episode 2 are really good. I thought, or episode 18, my bad, but they were both really good episodes. They were a little bit different from the first season episodes because they're a little bit more of character wise, because like the first episode of the first season was this guy who just was like very charismatic, and he was like talking to the camera, so it was a little bit more of a stylized episode, and as well as the episode 6, it felt like it was just these 2 episodes for season 2 were more character stories rather than like being stylized and stuff like that. Which I'm not complaining, but I still enjoyed them quite well. Like this episode 1 for season 2 was a strong opening first episode because you had a young Demi Moore, and it was just like she was playing someone who was a gold digger, and it was a lot of fun. And then they got some vampires and monsters in the final episode, so it was a nice bookend for this season. So I don't have a rating for this because it's kind of hard to rate a series without watching the whole season as a whole, the rest of the season, or rather the rest of the episodes within the season to kind of give it a full ranking. But if I had to, like I just mentioned in the yesterday's video, just watch them with a friend. Tales from the Crypt is a good show to watch with people because, I mean, also it's good to watch by yourself, but it's a lot of fun because these are episodes that are on HBO, so they're uncut. Um, they're like pure like rated R horror anthology episodes, like little 27-minute episodes of just good little storytelling. So that's really all I gotta say. Tomorrow I'll be doing season 3, and I cannot wait because I'm having so much fun with this week. I'm watching a lot of good, just the mini episodes for this show, so I really like it. That is all. My name is the one and only MSJ, Max for short, and like I said, please click subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified, like, comment, and share this video, and go show some support to everyone else who's doing this as well besides me. We're all having a lot of fun, and as always, my final words are thank you.